It's a question we've all asked, right? Why do people who seem to do everything right, they eat healthy, they exercise, they don't smoke, still get cancer? It feels totally unfair. Well, today we're going to get to the bottom of it.
So let's dive right into what feels like a really confusing paradox at the very heart of this disease. You know the story, we've all heard it, maybe it was a relative or a friend of a friend. They lived what everyone would call a clean life. They followed all the rules, and then they got that diagnosis. It just doesn't seem to add up. So seriously, how is that possible? I mean, if all these healthy lifestyle choices are so important, why aren't they a complete guarantee? Well, it turns out the answer has less to do with what we're doing on the outside and everything to do with what's going on inside our own bodies, every single second of every single day. Okay, so the secret to this whole puzzle, it actually starts inside our own bodies with an incredible, non-stop process that's basically a daily miracle.
Get a load of this number, 330 billion. That's roughly how many cells your body replaces every single day. That's about 1% of all your cells getting swapped out for brand new ones every single day. Think about that. You are literally not the same person you were when you woke up this morning. Your body is in this perpetual state of construction, constantly rebuilding and regenerating itself just to keep you running. And this process happens at different speeds all over your body. The cells lining your intestines, they're totally new pretty much every week. Your skin completely replaces itself every month or so. It's this constant turnover that's a huge part of our story today. And this is where things get interesting. Because that beautiful, life-giving process of constant change is also where the risk comes in. Because let's be real, when you're making 330 billion copies of something every single day, eventually you're gonna get a typo. All right, so what happens when one of those billions and billions of copies goes wrong? This brings us to the error in the code. So think of your DNA as the instruction manual, right? The blueprint for every single cell. A mutation is basically just a typo in that manual, a tiny error that can tell a cell to start growing out of control or to forget to die when its time is up. But hold on, your body is way too smart for that. It knows these typos can happen, so it's got this incredible built-in defense system ready to go. Yeah, you can think of it like a whole cellular defense team. You've got genes that are like the security guards, finding and fixing any damage. Then you have others that are kind of like quality control filters, telling a faulty cell, hey, you're not right. It's time to self-destruct before it can cause any trouble. It's an amazing system. So that leads to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? What happens when the defense system itself gets damaged? Who guards the guards? And that right there is what cancer is. It isn't just about one bad cell popping up. It's what happens when that bad cell appears and the security team that's supposed to stop it is also broken. That's when you get that uncontrolled growth. Okay, so now we know how it happens. Let's talk about the why. What makes this amazing defense system fail in the first place? Well, the reasons basically fall into two big buckets. In one bucket, you've got the stuff you just can't control. You know, the genes you get from your parents and, frankly, just the process of getting older. In the other bucket, that's the stuff you can control, your lifestyle and your environment. And let's talk about aging for a second, because this is by far the biggest risk factor. Get this, a whopping 90% of all cancer cases happen in people who are over 50 years old. And why is that? Well, it's because all those little DNA typos, they add up over time. The longer you live, the more your cells divide, and the more chances there are for mistakes to pile up and just overwhelm your body's defenses. It really shows you that cancer is, in many ways, a disease of aging. But here's the thing. While age and genetics are a huge part of the story, they are not the whole story, not even close. And this is probably the most important thing you'll hear today. The American Cancer Society found that a staggering 42% of cancer cases are linked to factors that are preventable. 42%. That means for almost half of all cases, the choices we make can make a huge, huge difference. So that brings us to the most important part of all of this. Knowing what we know now, what can you actually do about it? Let's open up the prevention playbook. So where do we start? Well, you go for the biggest wins first. Number one, eliminate tobacco and alcohol.
I mean, together, they're linked to more than a quarter of all cancer cases. That's massive. From there, it's about keeping a healthy diet and weight, steering clear of processed junk and focusing on real food. Then you got to stay active, move your body, and of course, protect yourself from the environment. That means sunscreen to block UV rays and just being mindful of things like pollution. Oh, and don't forget vaccinations. Things like the HPV vaccine can prevent specific types of cancer. Every single one of these steps helps support your body's own natural defense team.
So let's go back to our original question. Can a healthy person get cancer? Yes, bad luck is a real thing. So are genetics and aging. We can't control everything. But the key takeaway here is that we are far from powerless. The choices you make every day have a real, powerful impact on your cellular health. So I'll leave you with this idea. Think of it this way. Your lifestyle is literally writing your cellular story every single day. So the only question left is, what story are you going to write?